Kommentar zu Verbal, Let's Play Fake Rundor, ich bin es im Fix. Beim letzten Mal haben wir hier, ja, ein nettes Gespräch gehabt, was natürlich in einen Kampf gemündelt hat, weil irgendwann brauchen wir ja ein bisschen Action hier. Wir haben hier einiges wieder erfahren, wir reden ja immer hier noch mit unseren beiden Geschwistern. Unser Ziel ist es, hier zum Tempel von Dorona zu kommen, wo wir Zeus aufhalten wollen. Ja, wir haben mal wieder erfahren, dass Kirishima im Endeffekt ein Bündnis mit ihm hat, gleichgestellt mit einem Gottes. Kadoc Zemlupus war dieser mysteriöse Kontaktmann und im Endeffekt legen wir uns gerade mit Göttern an und einem Typen, der Götter bekämpfen kann. Nicht leicht ist das. Right, not the Menschheit. That research soldier we first fought after the alarm was sounded he was dead. I killed him myself. But now that you mention it, there was something strange about it. Even after I dealt him killing blow, I didn't feel as if I'd really won. Genau, das geht jetzt hier nämlich gerade darum, dass durch die Ambrosia, da gibt es übrigens ein Lied, die hier verteilt wird, die Menschen nicht sterben können. Sie sind im Endeffekt unsterblich und das, ja, diskutieren wir gerade. I guess him not actually dying would explain it. He didn't die. None of us can be killed here. Inflicting death is a power only the gods have. By this point, that soldier will have come back to life and started thinking up ways to get his revenge. While we were the subject, I might as well tell you this too. Even if we stop taking ambrosia, like me and my sister have, those cleanomia inside our bodies will continue to function. So we always be like this, forever. Forever? Fool? That's right, forever. Immortality is, well, eternal. Ever since that day, the gods bestowed ambrosia on us eons ago. We always looked exactly like this. You mean you don't age either? Alright. We've been alive for a long time. A very, very long time. We'll never reach adulthood. We both stopped growing long, long ago. The adults are all happy that we are still children. They say children are weak and should be protected, so we should just let them and the gods take care of us and be grateful for it. Never mind that we passed adult age a long time ago. Now I see. While many Olympians may be fine with this enforced stagnation, the two of you are not. And while the gods may have succeeded at preserving happiness at the level of society, it seems they were unable to extend their control to individual emotions. Truly fascinating. Very well, that at least makes clear why you two have chosen to rebel against the gods to assist us. But before we go further, there's one thing I would like to confirm with you. That's right. Fine with me. As you know, we are from Chaldea, a group of beings from proper human history. Our victory here would mean the end of this entire Lostbelt. Do you understand what that means if we succeed at cutting down the Tree of Emptiness? Everything here, Olympus, the gods, and all the many people, including you two, will disappear. No exceptions. Even knowing that, do you still wish to fight by our side? Das war ja das, was wir versucht haben, bis jetzt immer zu vermeiden. Also besonders im vierten Lostbelt haben wir uns ja ehrlich gesagt lange geweigert, hier mit Leuten zu reden. Aber Arschner kommt man natürlich nicht widerstehen. Die kleine Süße. Und nun, ja, ganz bewusst wollen diese Leute hier scheinbar den Tod finden. Ja, wie du. We don't need to kill him by living the same day over and over forever. We want to see a new tomorrow. Even if it means we end up dying for it. Oh no. Please don't be sad, Mesh. We spent an entire century thinking this through from every possible angle. And this is what we decided. We want you to see it tomorrow. A real tomorrow. A day that's different from the one that came before. Something more than just another day. We've already lived for more than enough of countless lifetimes. Do you have any idea how old I am? 16? I remember everyone in Atlantis had a lifespan of at least a few hundred years. So I would guess maybe twice that or several times? A few hundred years, huh? Wahrscheinlich so 3000 Jahre. The gods' protection must have one pretty thin for them. I'm jealous. Back during the fourth Magia, we were actually supposed to go to Atlantis ourselves. Along with all the other people who supported the faction that wanted coexistence between gods and humans. But what happened was, we missed the last boat. And we never have another chance, since the gods don't allow any of us leave the city. Whoa, hold up! The fourth Magia was what was between the gods. Didn't that happen something like 7,000 years ago? So you guys are saying you're a few thousand years old? No, we're not. I'd say we've been alive for about 10,000 years. Huh? That's right, 10,000 years plus a few centuries. 10.000? Haben sich gut gehalten, liebe Leute. Also, Leute, trinkt euren Ambrosia. We're citizens from Olympus. We are the gods' beloved playthings, kept in the eternal cradle. Ever since the day the gods built the city. We've been stuck here, living here forever. That's right. For over 10,000 years. We've been forced to live millions upon millions of versions of essentially the same day. Never getting to set a foot outside the city limits. Never getting to grow and change. For 10,000 years. We've been utterly stagnant. Trotzdem, ehrlich gesagt, nicht das schlimmste Schicksal. Nicht sterben, nicht altern, keine Sorgen. Naja. Wardrobe unlocked. Refurbished. Ah! Ja, oh, seht ihr. Fette Panzerung hat's jetzt da unten. Okay, sehr schön. Wir werden diese Form aber trotzdem nicht mehr sehen, weil die OG-Mesh viel besser ist. So, Mesh Killers das Artifact von Freundschaft has been unlocked. Aber wir werden es noch oft genug in der Hauptstory sehen. Beziehungsweise sehen müssen. Nun gut, liebe Leute, dann starten wir direkt mit dem nächsten Akt. Und nun sind wir in Session 6, Thou art the harvest that reaps the stars, Part 3. Nun gut, meine kleinen Götterfreunde, dann meine 10.000 Jahre alten, aber wie gesagt, gut gehalten. Interstellar Mountain City Olympus, Great Orbital Shrine, Olympia Dodona, the center of its operations. Our relation is upmas, our relation is upmas. Now is the time of the revelation. He is our powerful justice, the director here of primordial chaos and ruler of all things. He is the one who should keep all of humanity safe. He is the one who should rightfully rule over all worlds. He is the wielder of the great thunderbolt capable of shattering even the Atmos sides, none less than the authorities of Gaia and the Meliaboros will. He is the great Demi-Servant, and the one who wields the Kronos crown for all of eternity. Now behold the words of the almighty Zeus. Der Typ sieht so gut aus. There's work to be done. I command you by my name, Demeter, goddess of the land who grants a vast earth and abundant harvest, and my own flesh and blood. You are to eradicate the Chaldeans who lurk within my city. I permit you to use the Alephia in every district of Olympus. May a piercing shriek shatter the bones of the enemies that threaten our world. As you wish, almighty Zeus, you will as my command. These Chaldeans demons strike fear into the very hearts of the citizen. And the citizens of Olympus may as well be my own children. My duty as my mother is clear. I shall use every power and authority at my disposal to eradicate them. I swear it on my beloved Persephone. What a lovely oath! My lovely goddess, I'm thoroughly touched. Truly, I see you have sworn this oath on your precious daughter, Lady Persephone. Then heavenly Zeus is certain to be fulfilled, no matter who may try to stand with it. Limbo, tun nicht immer die Leute hier so, ja, nervös, Mann. Forgive me, King of Gods, But may I offer a word of advice? As nice it is to see my alter ego colleague and fellow foreign god disciple limbo to overcome with emotions, that is not why we are here. Might there be any room for us to join her on this mission? Your help is not needed. I have no orders for the likes of you, disciples. Well, that's a pity. It seems we still have yet to fully earn your trust. This klappt bei Limbo nicht. May I say something, Father? Yes, Father. May Brick Brother say something? While I do have my concerns about sending Demeter out on this mission, I'm happy to abide by your judgment, if this is what you think is best. That being said, there's one thing I would like to ask. Please tell me. Why did you place such a curse on the sage of proper human history? Oh! So I noticed that, Costa, child of Alt in whose veins runs my blood. Very well then, I shall tell you. That sage is a prime example of the very worst of humanity. Thus he does not deserve to be met with the full wrath of my lightning. I trust you can understand that. Father, if I may say one more thing. Why did you not strike him dead on the spot? Leute, Beast 5, 6, 7, 6, Beast 6. Sherlock Holmes. Big Brother! And why did you even permit Chaldea's submarine to disembark on our holy land? If you had only used your true great thunderbolts, the entire ship would be... Enough, Costa! You may be Almighty's child, but that does not give you a license to speak to him however you like. Remember, you are in the presence of the King of the Gods. It's alright. I forgive your transgression, Costa, and I admit your words possess an element of truth. Indeed, I am all-powerful. If I wished, I could have easily reduced them all to dust. However, there's one thing you must never forget. If I were to use the true strength of my great thunderbolts, they would demolish the city and obliterate the populace. Not even Demeter's Regenesis gift would be able to bring them back. We must protect the city. We must protect populace. For ever since the second Magia 14,000 years ago, the day we obtained the Cronus crown, we have ceased to be a fleet of mechanical arcs crossing the sea of stars, and have become gods. Also im Endeffekt seine Macht ist so groß, dass er sie selbst, also wenn er sie einsetzt, im Endeffekt weiß, dass er den Tod von vielen benutzt. Und da, Kirishima vor dem Baum. Oh nein, das wird so episch noch, Mann. I take it your divine revelation is over then. That must be quite tiring for you, King of the Gods. Especially since merely keeping Olympus running must take at least 90% of your resources. I can't tell you how sorry I am for letting these Chaldean slip inside. I could say the same to you, Woodtime. You have nothing to apologize for. You entrust Canis with the task of stopping, as I did with Odysseus. Both failed. Indeed, Chaldea surpassed both our exceptions. Revising our estimation of them is more than sufficient. I see. I don't know what to say. Hearing you say that to me, a mere human, makes me feel I have less of a leg to stand on. I may seem cool and collected, but I was actually steeling myself to face some kind of penalty. You're my friend, I know. So don't you want to admonish me at least a little? I could never let the other ship's gods hear you tease me like that. But as it is just the two of us here, I cannot help but be more lenient with my judgment. Seine Augen. Be at ease, young mage. There is no one else here for whom you need perform. That goes for the foreign god too, of course. Even as you speak, I'm using all my authority to keep his conversation private. Whatever we do and say here remains strictly between us. That said, even I cannot hide us from the priestess' prying eyes. I love to admit it. That's because she is the observer. In a sense, she's even more trouble than the foreign god, who still lacks a body altogether. but simply knowing that she will not hear what we have to say is more than enough, since that will give us an opportunity to verify our endgame goals with one another. As you have surmised, Zeus, the foreign god is indeed keeping a close eye on me. The alter egos may be supervising the other cryptors, but only I have a direct link to the foreign god. If I were to act in my own way, counter to the foreign god's interest, I would immediately be cut off from further aid. Which is why I had no choice but to say, grow the tree of emptiness. When it is done, the reconstruction of MILF will take place. Yes, I remember that. You also said this planet's surface activity would be restored to the age of gods, and the gods would soon after resume their reign. I agreed with your conclusion, but instead we face one another in combat. I said that if you truly believed in the ideas of which you spoke, you should demonstrate that you wield the necessary strength to bring them about. Of course I lost that fight. I never thought I would learn firsthand how debilitating complacency could be. Was? Ey Leute, er hat nicht den Dioscuri besiegt, er hat halt einfach Zeus besiegt. So krass. That was only because I planned ahead. I took a calculated risk that you wouldn't go all out if I spoke to you alone. Olympus is not part of Earth. It is a colony that continues to operate on this day. As its omnipotent god, you have an obligation to keep running at all times. So it follows you that to not employ your full strength is an opening move against a lone mage like myself, yes? I have to admit, you were a clever bastard for a human. As soon as you unveiled your meteor mage curve, I knew I reiterated at the start. I quickly changed outputs, but by then it was too late. In boxing terms, I had already been knocked out. What I wouldn't give to show hate is the signals Demeter and Aphrodite were emitting as they watched. I doubt there are any stories of the two. I doubt there are any stories of those two staring slack-jawed and struck in any myth from proper human history. I could say much the same of your reaction as well. You looked more like a kindly old man than a cold-blooded, all-powerful god. Have the other gods of this Lostbelt ever seen those other possibilities you harbor? Also, I would ever let them see such thing. I am Zeus, the flagship of all Olympus. I am the all-powerful one who rules over even the other gods. Even this avatar to which you now speak is no more than a virtual self, created expressly to converse with you. It is both me and not me. Yes, good point. I may be hiding something, but being a ship, you are largely unable to do so. When you do something not expected of you, you create a new function and have it act in your stead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you out. Let's return to the subject at hand. You recognized the foreign god's existence and accepted the Tree of Emptiness into your world. After all, you need the Tree of Emptiness in order to preserve this Lostbelt, but at the same time, as long as the Tree of Emptiness is here, the foreign god will one day descend up in our world. And we Olympian gods cannot coexist with the foreign god. All we gods need is the Tree of Emptiness. The foreign god and the alter egos are our enemies, nothing more. Thus, the instant the Tree of Emptiness has fully blossomed, we revolt against them. I will claim the Tree of Emptiness for myself and destroy the foreign god's point of arrival. From there I will purge this world of the last traces of insolent proper human history and establish our world of Olympus in its place. I remember you approached me with a contract back when that thought first occurred to me. Your exact words were, "There is no need for you to explain your decision with words. King of the gods, I implore you to form a contract with me, for our ultimate objectives are the same." That was your way of suggesting we protect this Lostbelt from the foreign god, wasn't it? I wouldn't be so bold as to say protect, as you and I both seek the same outcome. I only wanted to help so that our goal would be realized, even if one of us were to fall. I trust your feelings on that have not changed. Of course not. I may oppress proper human history, but I do not oppose humanity. I promise you that in the event of your death, I will carry on protecting humanity in your stead. Even if it should come to light that you have been able to deceiving us and acting on proper human history's behalf. As long as you're not openly to blame for your actions, I will accept you, warts and all. I hear you loud and clear, Zeus. It seems our plan remains unchanged. There are only a few days left until the Tree of Emptiness reaches a critical point. Until the time comes, we shall continue to work toward the reconstruction of the Age of Gods. You continue to walk a tightrope with the foreign god, Olympus and Chaldea, all aiming to knock you off. And you do so with aplomb. Wait, what time? There's one thing I would like to verify as well. Yes. You told Canis. Das Bild sieht so mega. Leute, Zeus Design ist so mega. You told Canis the stars indicated you would need to fight 2 more times, yes. One of those happened in Atlantis, leaving only 1 more. So you're to save your final battle for me, understand? I forbid you to waste it either on Chaldea or the Altegos. I want to fight you once again, and I want to stake the future of this world of gods up our battle. Of course. When the time comes, I will gladly face you with all my strength, so that I may live up to your exceptions. Ha 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 ha! Der ist so ein Typ, der ist so ein krasser Typ, Mann. Der Typ ist einfach so mega cool, Mann. Er ist einfach mit Zeus einfach so auf einem Level und sagt halt, ey, okay, Bro, pack was an. Der ist so mega cool, Mann. Ich liebe ihn, Mann. Ich will ihn das Servant haben. Ist mir wurscht, dass das irgendwie kein gutes Schicksal für ihn ist und das bedeutet, dass er davor erstmal sterben muss, aber ich will ihn das Servant haben. Wie viel Gerade muss ich dir geben, damit er jetzt hier wahr wird? What an unpleasant surprise. Exactly who gave you permission to stand there, human? Olympia, the donors, corridors are reserved for gods alone. There are no place for humans to look. Beryl. I see. Well, I do beg your forgiveness if I offered you a goddess of beauty. I was trying to hide my pitiful human self behind a pillar, so as not to upset your divine mood, but I guess I wasn't successful. You're new here. Are you another one of those mages from proper human history? Cryptus, was it? Let's see. This Kadoc Zemlupus reminds me of a filthy little puppy. Peperoncino reminds me of a nasty vulture. And you're... What are you exactly? Are you real, Crypta? Nothing about you stands out. I can't even think of an animal you remind me of. How dreadful boring. Ouch, you cut me too quick, goddess. But yes, you're exactly right. As you can see, I am but a humble, harmless human. If you think me pitiable, I would only ask that you find it on your divine heart to offer me some tiny modicum of compassion. Compassion? You want me to spend my precious time thinking about a human? Humans are weak and deserving of our protection. I'm even willing to lend them a hand when they need help. But it's as far as it goes. We are the gods of Olympus. We would never waste our time on something so foolish as thinking about humans, especially not here. Not even a comrade of Kirishida. Know your place, human. Oh, you couldn't be more right, goddess. Please forgive my foolish offense. You see, I only just arrived from an incredible barbaric land. Every person there had their hands full taking care of themselves, and any faith they may have had in something greater had long been lost. Not that there were ever any gods in that world to begin with, of course. Compared to that, Olympus has been truly divine in every sense of the word. Indeed, your glorious light is still far too bright for my poor eyes. I only hope you can laugh off my slight as the foolish remarks of an hopeless country bumpkin. A world without gods. Such a place is of better being pruned. Very well, Crypter. You may not be worthy of my consideration, but I can spare a bit of my pity. I only can imagine how much you were suffered in a Lostbelt without a single god. So I will overlook your transgression here in the light of your wise decision to abandon that foolish Lostbelt. Now then, what is your name? Your mercy and kindness move me to my core, goddess. I have no words to express my gratitude and respect. My name is Beryl Gut. If I have proved worthy of your remembering me, even if only for a fleeting moment, I will know you beyond measure. Beryl, what a strange name. Ring your name has. It almost sounds like blood splattering against the wall. Very well, Beryl. Come to my shrine. You're going to tell me, and only me, about this Lostbelt, the land of fairies at the ends of the world you abandoned. It would be my pleasure, my goddess, but first, may I ask you something? I can't seem to find a close friend of mine here, no matter where I look. It's Kadoc, the one you said reminds me of a puppy. Would you have to know where I might find him? Of course not. I can't possibly care less about such a helpless creature. He'd probably out somewhere enjoying one of the city automatic brothels. Is that so? Well, that works out nicely. Was sind bitte automatisch... nein, Leute, wir öffnen... Leute, es ist eine Ehrung, wir öffnen jetzt nicht das Thema nach irgendwelchen automatischen Puffs. I see, yes. That does sound like something Kadoc would do. But in that case, Lady Aphrodite, if Kadoc is out in the city now, I mean according to the revelation from the King of Gods. Oh, that? Yes, if he's out in the city now, he probably end up dead. Caught him in the eradication of Chaldea. As a pathetic member of proper human history rather than one of our citizens of Olympus, I doubt there will be so much of a trace of him left. Indeed, this may sound heartless of me, but if that's his fate, so be it. After all, you are the goddess of love, and love can at times be cruel. You were never one to come with the aid of mortals even in proper human history. For my part, I can only hope and pray that Kadoc is still somewhere in the shrine. What about the other 12 Olympians? Say, for example, the goddess of the land and harvest who has long protected nature, animals and humans alike. Oh yes, Demeter. Good question, I'm not really sure. There would be no problem if she could remain the steely, cold-blooded goddess she should be. But Demeter... she's always been much too kind for a mechanical god. Ist das nicht was Gutes für uns? Ich hoffe es. Also, liebe Leute, nun wird eine Gottheit ausrücken. Und so wie es aussieht, nicht in ihrer kleinen, süßen, handlichen Form, sondern in ihrer wahren Form, in ihrer mechanischen Götterform. Interstellar Mountain City Olympus. South District. Und alles zerstören, was auf Weg ist. Dank ihrer Kraft wird die Stadt wiedergeboren und die Menschen, aber von uns. All of a sudden, enormous flocks of birds took up the sky, causing the people here to instinctively look up. But it was only a flock of birds taking flight, nothing else not occurred. Today would play peacefully, just as yesterday had. Soon there would have come another place for tomorrow to take its place. That was what everyone thought, just before it happened. Was? In 10 Gottes Namen ist das? Wir können es uns leider fast denken. Das wird nur die Fadeform von Demeter sein. Und wenn nur die Götter in ihrer Form aufrücken, wie wir sie schon gekannt haben, dass sie dass sie ganze Kontinente in einem Zug auslöschen können, wird das unschön. Leute, wir machen jetzt einen kleinen Cut und beim nächsten Mal wird es richtig spannend. Denn dann, so wie es aussieht, müssen wir erneut einen Gott bekämpfen. Da würde ich sagen, bis zum nächsten Mal, haut rein und Wiedersehen und vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Ciao.